Effect of increasing strength of stimulus on muscle contraction. In this experiment, we gradually increase the strength of the stimulus applied to the muscle and observe its effects. Principle: the amplitude of contraction increases with increasing strength of stimulus up to a fixed limit. Look for contraction at the make or break points. If there is no contraction, we bring the secondary coil closer to the primary coil. Again, we press and release the spring key. We look for contraction. We keep reducing the distance till we first see contraction at the break point. We measure responses for make and break stimuli at the various distances between the coils and then analyze the data. Let's look at the recording and understand it. Initially, when the distance between the two coils was maximum, there were no contractions at either make or break stimulus. The stimulus at this point is called subminimal or subthreshold stimulus. A subminimal or subthreshold stimulus is a stimulus which does not evoke a response. The strength of the stimulus is not enough to generate a response. The first contraction recorded was at the break stimulus. This level of stimulus is called the minimum or threshold stimulus. A threshold stimulus is the minimum strength of stimulus that is required to generate a response. Remember that the break stimulus is always more than the make stimulus. Hence, initially, only the break stimulus crosses the threshold level and is able to evoke a response. As we increase the strength of stimulus, the make stimulus is also able to generate a response. As we further increase the strength of stimulus, the strength of the response also increases. The amplitude of the break stimulus is greater than the make stimulus till the stimulus reaches the maximal stage. A maximal stimulus is a stimulus which produces the maximum response. Even though we keep increasing the strength of the stimulus, after this point, the strength of the response does not increase. Make and break responses are equal and constant after the maximal stimulus. This stage is known as supramaximal stimulus. Supramaximal stimulus is a stimulus greater than the maximal stimulus. There is no increase in the magnitude of contraction in supramaximal stimulus. Through this experiment, we have understood the different levels of stimuli. We have seen the kind of response each stimulus produces. Now, let's take a look at why the levels of stimuli produce this graded response. Before we start, we need to learn about motor units. A motor unit is a single nerve fiber and all the muscle fibers it supplies. The more motor units stimulated, the stronger is the muscle contraction. So let's see how many motor units each type of stimulus can excite. A subminimal stimulus is not strong enough to stimulate any motor units. A minimal or threshold stimulus is just strong enough to stimulate a few motor units in the muscle. As the strength of stimulus goes on increasing, the number of motor units excited goes on increasing. This increases the strength of contraction of the muscle. A maximal stimulus stimulates all the motor units in the muscle. This leads to the strongest possible muscle contraction. A supramaximal stimulus cannot stimulate any more motor units. Thus, the strength of stimulus does not increase beyond maximal stimulus.